To most people, they don't really see how it is that without centralized control you can get the right outcome. And that's a very, very important lesson, because essentially, in order to believe in individual freedom, you have to believe that somehow if you leave people alone, things will work out mostly right. Price theory does not guarantee that. There are circumstances, what we describe as market failure, where even if individuals make the right decision, the group makes the wrong decision. If you look on my webpage, one of the talks I've given, that you can find a recording of it, is about market failure. And what I'm arguing there is those situations exist on the market, but they also exist in the political system. And that in fact, the kind of situation where everyone makes the right choice for himself but the wrong choice for everyone is the exception on the private market and what normally happens in the political market. Because it happens when one person makes a decision where someone else bears the cost. In the private market, you can occasionally do that. If I burn leaves on my lawn, my neighbors may get smoke they don't like. So once in a while in the private market, one person does something and someone else bears the cost. But most of the time, if I want to have steak for dinner, I've got to pay somebody to get that steak. That means that I'm not imposing a cost on him. But if you think about how the political system works, it's almost never the case that when a politician votes for something, whether it's benefit or cost, he doesn't get the benefit, he doesn't pay the cost. When a judge makes a decision, if it's the wrong decision, he's not the one who's worse off as a result. So I would argue that because you have these situations where individually rational behavior doesn't lead to group rational behavior, that's usually an argument against governments doing things, because although it happens in the private market, it happens more in the political market. If you think of the political system not as a benevolent God doing things for you, but as a bunch of human beings like everything else, each doing his own thing, and each one pursuing his own objectives, not the welfare of the world. And the beauty, part of what price theory tells us, is that at least in the simple case, everybody trying to pursue his own objectives does produce the welfare of the world. In some complicated cases, it doesn't. And that's a very interesting lesson, and probably the most interesting and important single lesson in economics.